Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna, aka Neurological MD, and I'm a neurologist. I like making videos about neuroscience related topics as well as health and wellness. I also enjoy reacting to music videos with you, and I enjoy sharing my insights from a neuroscientific perspective because there's a lot going on in the brain when we listen to music, when we create music or perform music or even dance to music. And because of this, music has a tremendous potential to heal. And that's why I love making these reaction videos. There's something in medical training called Journal Club. And Journal Club is basically where the medical students, the residents, and the attendings all get together and discuss a specific journal article from a medical journal. And we pick it apart and we analyze it and summarize what we glean from that article. So I like to think of these music video reactions as the journal club for the soul, where we analyze what's going on in these videos and the lyrics and just kind of discuss what we can take away from it from an artistic perspective and how that intertwines with our neurobiology. All of that being said, today I'm going to be reacting to Doechii's music video and song called Anxiety. For those of you who may not be familiar with Doechii, she's an artist who actually started out on YouTube, I believe over a decade ago, and she's really come into the spotlight over the past 5 or 6 years because she's just incredibly talented, she's authentic, and she has quite a unique style. Her song Anxiety, which is the one that we're going to be listening to today, was actually originally created by Doechii back in 2021, but it just recently went viral. It's set to the instrumental of Doechii's song called Somebody That I Used to Know, and that was made in 2012. All right, now that you got a little bit of background on Doechii, let's dive into the music video together.
I bounce back, no pogo, unhappy, no homo, new brands, no logos, money on my juggler, natural hustler, think I need a smuggler up in Russia, you could be my butler, shine my cutler, shout out to Oyenda, that's the guzzler, okay next thing, my life is a wet dream, I call it a sex scene, the bag is a nice tease, I tried to escape, my life is an x-ray, I'm sorry a sex tape, you only get one take, quiet on the set please.
It's stressful.
Rolling Anxiety, in 3, 2,
This is a brilliant visualization of what it feels like to be caught in anxiety. Doechii is running through these scripted loops. She's trapped in these emotionally charged scenes that keep repeating. And these are outside of her control. They're causing her significant distress. It almost seems like this Truman Show type scenario. For those of you who don't know what the Truman Show is, it was a movie that was made, I believe, back in the 90s. It has Jim Carrey. Go check it out. But this also reminds me of what happens in the brain during anxiety when we're stuck in these anxious thought loops. We're repeatedly activating circuits involved in threat detection, emotional processing, and something called rumination, which is a fancy word for being stuck in this repetitive cycling thought pattern that feeds into itself without leading to any clear resolution. We've all been there, up at 4 a.m. thinking about the same problem over and over again without actually coming up with a solution. That is exactly what rumination is. One reason why we get caught in these distressing thought loops is because of something called the negativity bias. So the negativity bias is the human brain's tendency to pay more attention to negative stimuli. Evolutionarily, this made sense. It helped our ancestors stay alert to potential dangers like predators. But in today's world, where we are constantly exposed to bad news, overstimulation, and algorithm-driven content that is specifically designed to take advantage of this negativity bias, it can become very problematic to our mental health. Because of something called neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to form and strengthen connections, these anxiety circuits get stronger the more we use them. So if we're constantly consuming distressing content, being exposed to distressing environmental stimuli, or replaying negative thought patterns, then we're literally training our brains to stay stuck in these loops. How do we break the circuit? Well, we have to consciously rewire our brains. One thing that I've personally done is to become more mindful of how certain social media content makes me feel. When I see something that is distressing on social media specifically, I intentionally click not interested or don't recommend this channel. And that helps retrain the algorithm to not show me as much of that distressing content. And as a result, I've noticed changes in my own mental environment and how I perceive my reality. So if you've done this or end up trying this, I'd genuinely love to know if this has any effects on your quality of life and your thought patterns. So feel free to leave a comment about it below. Oh, also, in Doechii's case, I think she's not only addressing what it feels like to live in anxiety in general, but I also think that she's addressing her specific situation in that her rise to fame has caused her anxiety. Her rise to fame has been pretty explosive, and with that, I can only imagine the anxiety that could result from feeling constantly watched by her audience, by her managers, receiving a lot of criticism, because if you're in the public eye, you're bound to receive criticism. All of that could just amplify anxiety. The reason why I say that is because of the opening scene of the music video, which actually references her original 2021 version of this song. She's in her bedroom, sitting on her bed, singing into the mic. And in this new video, we see that moment recreated. Only this time, the window in front of her shatters. And to me, this feels very symbolic, like it's foreshadowing of what is to come. The viral rise, the loss the and the mental anxiety loops that fame can bring.
Trying, oh, I feel the silence, keep it quiet, oh, somebody's watching me, anxiety, oh, I feel anxiety. Corridor dirt, from floor dirt, what's in that clear blue water? No limits, no borders, what's in that new world order? Marco, Polo, Negro run from Popo, that blue light and that rojo. And it's like, I get this tightness in my chest, like an elephant is standing on me, and I just let it take over. Anxiety keeps on trying me. Anxiety keeps on trying me. Anxiety, oh, I feel it trying, keep it trying. Oh, I feel the
it looks at the beginning of the scene that she is finally able to pull herself out of that distressing anxiety loop. She is immersed in movement and song and dance. And to me, it looks like she's entered a flow state. Her body, her voice, her presence, they're all in harmony. Even the dancers around her feel symbolic. Maybe they represent her thoughts. And when she's in flow, she moves with them. She can direct them fluidly, and she doesn't have to fight against them. There's such a sense of ease and fluidity, so different from the chaos that she was battling earlier. For anyone unfamiliar, flow state is one of my favorite things to talk about, and it is one of the most beneficial mental states that we can experience in our lives. It's characterized by deep focus, loss of self-consciousness and loss of sense of time, increased sense of control, and intrinsic enjoyment and immersion of the activity that a person is partaking in. Flow state is linked to improved mood and reduced distressing emotions, just like how we see Doechii's dancing and singing help her break free from those anxious thought loops. Flow state is often triggered by creative expression, music, dance, art. It can also be triggered by sports, but it can show up also during everyday tasks like cooking or even washing the dishes. But the key is that we need to be fully present and immersed in that activity. If you're curious to learn more about the flow state, my favorite book to recommend is called Flow by a psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It's a fantastic read. I read it a few years ago. Highly recommend it. The author, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, was a psychologist who actually first coined the term flow state. He was an expert on it. And so that book not only gives you more insight into the neuroscience behind flow state, but also teaches you how to cultivate it in your life. I think the reason why I love this scene so much is how Doechii so beautifully demonstrate what the flow state looks like and feels like. And she literally embodies flow. She gets pulled right back into the chaos, but then finds her way back into flow state and then gets pulled out again. So she's trying to find this balance. There's this constant tension between the internal creative flow state and then the external pressures associated with fame. I think a lot of creatives can relate to this because flow is deeply internal. It's intuitive, it's spiritual. Some people even describe it as connecting to a higher power when they experience flow. But when we're weighed down with criticism, perfection, pressure to perform, all of these things that artists have to deal with if they want to expose themselves in the world, it can block that access to flow. From a neuroscience perspective, entering flow requires something called hemispheric integration. That means that the left and the right hemispheres of the brain are working coherently together and they're communicating really well. The left hemisphere handles logic, language, and analytical thinking. The right hemisphere is more involved in emotion, intuition, spatial processing, and big picture thinking. When the two hemispheres are well integrated, communicating well together, it creates the ideal conditions for creativity and flow. And we can actually strengthen that integration through activities that engage both sides of the brain, like music, painting, dancing, solving creative problems, or learning something new. And here's another fun fact that I actually just learned, that mindfulness meditation also supports the brain states associated with flow. And that makes total sense because mindfulness strengthens your ability to stay present. And staying present is at the heart of the flow state. Just looking really disoriented. That was her! Ah! Wow, and it all comes back full circle. What an incredibly creative video. I loved it. I enjoyed it. What strikes me the most is how this video loops back to her original 2021 recording of Anxiety. The old Doechii is on her bed, mic in hand. She's fully immersed in her flow. And then the window shatters. And that's future Doechii breaking into her own past, almost like she's warning her past self of the chaos that fame is about to bring to her. Past Doechii is really grounded in her art. She's just like really immersed in it. But for future Doechii is trying to hold on to that, but she's also trying to navigate the demands of fame. So this leaves me wondering, is this her asking herself, would she do it all over again if she had the chance? There is one more thing that I wanted to mention for those of you who are still around, and that is how beautifully Doechii's dancing and singing scene demonstrates something really important for our mental health, and that is body movement as a way of getting out of the distressing thought loop pattern. People who struggle with anxiety and even depression often experience rumination. Like I mentioned before, rumination is a fancy term for overthinking and getting in these distressing thought loops where nothing really gets resolved, but you can't stop thinking about a certain stressful situation. So one of the most powerful ways to interrupt that cycle is to physically move your body. That's why I found that scene so incredible, because her dancing isn't just creative expression, it's how she recenters herself mentally. I'm a huge advocate of using movement to reset our mental and emotional state. When we move our bodies, all that fruitless energy that we're spending on racing thoughts is redirected into a cathartic physical release, and also provides us with a sense of mind-body connection, which leaves us feeling more grounded. Movement also heightens something called interoception, which is a fancy medical word for the brain's ability to sense and interpret internal signals from the body. When we have greater interoception, we become more attuned to our physical sensations, we become more grounded in our emotions, and we start living less in our heads. In other words, we stop overthinking as much and more within our entire bodies. For a long time, talk therapy and medications have been the main tools offered for mental health. And while those can be incredibly helpful, don't get me wrong, they often leave out a crucial piece: the body, movement, the mind-body connection. The brain needs feedback from the body, and the body needs feedback from the brain. So that mind-body connection is incredibly important for mental health. So if you've found yourself stuck in loops of overthinking, anxiety, or emotional shutdown, you can just dance in your room, shake it out, work out, or simply learn to notice what is happening in your body as you experience specific emotions. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with me, for watching this video. I wish you a wonderful day. I'm sending you a lot of love, and we will catch you next time. Bye.